أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولا تأكلوا أموالكم بينكم بالباطل وتدلوا بها إلى الحكام لتأكلوا فريقا من أموال الناس بالإثم وأنتم تعلمون. يسألونك عن الأهلة قل هي مواقيت للناس والحج وليس البر بأن تأتوا البيوت من ظهورها ولكن البر من اتقى وأتوا البيوت من أبوابها واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. وقاتلوا في سبيل الله الذين يقاتلونكم ولا تعتدوا إن الله لا يحب المعتدين. واقتلوهم حيث ثقفتموهم وأخرجوهم من حيث أخرجوكم والفتنة أشد من القتل. ولا تقاتلوهم عند المسجد الحرام حتى يقاتلوكم فيه فإن قاتلوكم فاقتلوهم كذلك جزاء الكافرين. فإن انتهوا فإن الله غفور رحيم. وقاتلوهم حتى لا تكون فتنة ويكون الدين لله فإن انتهوا فلا عدوان إلا على الظالمين.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. This is Munibah Khan and you're watching Duroos-Ul-Qur'an. Alhamdulillah, last time we did the first half of Ruku number 23, that was lesson number 24. Today inshallah we'll be discussing about the Ruku number 23 and Ruku number 24. Does Islam teach bloodshed? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And do not eat up each other's property unjustly, nor approach the authorities with it to eat up a portion of the property of the people sinfully, while you know all that. They ask you about the phases of the moon. Say, they are a means for people to determine time and Hajj. It is not righteous to enter the houses from the back, but righteousness is to fear Allah. So enter the houses through their doors, and fear Allah so that you may succeed. And fight in the way of Allah against those who fight you and do not transgress. Surely Allah does not like the transgressors. And kill them wherever you find them, and drive them out from where they drove you out. And fitna, to create disorder, is more severe than to kill. And do not fight them near Masjid al-Haram unless they fight you there. However, if they fight you there, you may kill them. Such is the reward of the disbelievers. But if they cease, then Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. And fight them until there is no fitna anymore. And religion is for Allah alone. But if they desist, then there is no aggression except against the transgressors. Now these are the last verses of the 23rd Ruku and the first 5 verses of the 24th Ruku of Surah Al-Baqarah that are recited, and their translation is presented. Let's contemplate them, these verses, and derive guidance from them for our benefit. Before these verses, the instructions, rulings, and some etiquette of fasting have been explained in the previous video, and its purpose have also been presented. Fasting enhances an individual's self-discipline. The fear of Allah and the thought of the hereafter revives. The spirit of piety and abstinence arises. The spirit of gratitude for the blessing of the Qur'an is infused, and in general Allah's greatness and majesty are engraved on the life of the fasting person. In his mind, heart, body, and soul, there is a desire to elevate the word of Allah and raise the flag for His greatness. By abstaining from eating and drinking halal things and fulfilling the legitimate sexual desire at the appointed time for the whole month, they develop the ability to abstain from forbidden things to a greater extent in the remaining 11 months of the year and throughout their life through annual training. Therefore, immediately after the verses related to fasting, it is said, "Do not eat each other's wealth unjustly through forbidden means." Everyone is aware of what constitutes lawful and unlawful sources of income. Therefore, instead of explaining in detail, only the instruction was given that do not eat each other's wealth in unlawful ways, and do not bribe the authorities to usurp the property of others, as consuming others' wealth in this manner is also forbidden and unlawful. Giving and taking bribes and seizing others' property of possessions through bribing the authorities are all unlawful and forbidden. Obtaining wealth through forbidden means not only goes against faith but also against the training given through prayer and fasting. Allah Almighty has consistently instructed through His messengers and books to earn and consume lawful sustenance. This is because filling one's stomach with unlawful earning is, in reality, filling the stomach with fire. The body fed with haram wealth will become the fuel of hellfire. The invitation and propagation of Islam is indeed Allah Almighty's mission. He desires to promote His religion through His loyal servants. He wants to implement His law through His obedient servants, but without compulsion or coercion, without using natural or compulsive means. He wants to exalt His word through the free will and choice of humans. He has always carried out this mission through His messengers and His scriptures. That's why during the movement, any questions that arise in the minds of the believers or even in the minds of those in opposing camps have always been duly noted. These questions are answered in the Quran sometimes after mentioning them, and sometimes the answer is given without raising the question. Here are the answers to a few such questions. Question number 1. What are the different shapes and states of the waxing and waning moon? The answer to the first question is that the appearance of the moon every month, growing from a thin crescent to a full moon and then gradually fading to a thin crescent and disappearing, is actually a natural calendar. It can be used to easily calculate the months and years as well as the dates of various festivals, fairs, annual markets, and grand gatherings such as the Hajj. The Hajj is specifically mentioned to highlight that in Arab society, it was not just a matter of religious sanctity, but also held significant economic and social importance. Now, question number 2. Is it not permissible to return to your home after wearing the ihram of Hajj and before completing the rituals of Hajj, if you do not go through the doors but enter the houses from behind by climbing walls or making temporary windows from behind? Human societies and communities have always given importance to outward and superficial customs and traditions due to their ignorance and backwardness. They have neglected the spirit of religion and its original commandments and instructions. Apart from ignorance, people have adopted outward self-made customs instead of the spirit of religion due to inner desires, blind imitation of forefathers, and following the devil. The Quran guides people towards the ultimate truth and seeks to instill the essence of religion in them. Therefore, it is said, "It is not righteous to enter the houses from the back, but righteousness is to fear Allah. So enter the houses through their doors and fear Allah so that you may succeed, and adopt righteousness and piety as a way of life." Now here, fear also means mindfulness. We need to understand that Allah is not all wrathful. The taqwa also means mindfulness, that we mind that Allah is all time watching us. The excuse that we are not going through the door, therefore, there is no violation of the ihram, in fact, is deceiving Allah. Rather, it is deceiving oneself. The practice of entering houses from the back rather than through their doors after completing Hajj is indeed a self-invention custom. All such customs that have no connection with Sharia should be abandoned. and one should enter homes through their doors, one should always fear Allah or be mindful of Allah. The prosperity and well-being of both the world and the hereafter are associated with the path of being mindful of Allah and keeping the hereafter in mind. Question number 3. One question was that from the past 13 to 14 years, the disbelievers have been persecuting the believers. They are destroying everything, including their lives, property, and honor. How long should we keep our hands tied? How long should we continue to invite and preach only on constitutional and moral grounds? How long should we bear the heavy burden of sorrow and shed tears of blood? And how long should we be content with only prayer and fasting? The answer to this was given concisely. Fight those who fight against you in the way of Allah. You are allowed to use force in self-defense, but do not exceed the limits. Fight those who wage war against you, and do not harm civilians, the elderly, children, or women. Do not disrespect the enemy's dead bodies. Do not cut down trees. Do not destroy crops, and do not harm animals. Yes, you are permitted to fight those who fight. However, aggressors, whether from the Muslim community or non-Muslim communities, Allah does not approve of those who exceed the limits. Inshallah, we'll wrap up for today, and in our next video, we will be continuing with question number 4 up to 8. Jazakallahu khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.